Hey everyone. Okay, I actually have three quick things to cover before we dive in today. Right before I hopped on to record this, I saw our podcast episode tracking sheet, and Beth had noted that today will mark the start of year 5 of the podcast. I'm not going to lie, this is somewhat mind blowing to me. So, a little over 4 years ago, I told Beth that I was interested in starting a podcast, and she agreed to help me figure out how to do that because neither of us had any prior experience in podcasting, but we both are very avid podcast listeners. So, 4 years ago today, we put our first episode out into the world, and we have now published an episode for 212 consecutive weeks. That is 4 straight years, you guys. Holy smokes. And I want to ask you to help us celebrate as we move into year 5. If you have found any of my episodes over the past 4 years helpful, would you please take one quick moment to rate and review the podcast? You truly have no idea how much every 5-star review means to us. Okay, second thing, I want to take a quick moment to check in on how you're doing after the fall time change that happened just a couple days ago, if you're listening the day this comes out. I hope that things are going smoothly for your whole family and that you were able to follow the steps that I shared back in episode 210 to make that adjustment as easy as possible. But if your child is still waking early or struggling with the shift, don't panic. It's possible that they may need a couple more days to fully adjust. And you can go back and listen to episode 160, which is my fall time change troubleshooting episode, where I share specific strategies for helping kids adjust when things aren't going perfectly right out of the gate. Lastly, before we get into today's topic, I have one more quick favor to ask. We're planning out content for 2026, and I would love your input. Actually, I would argue that I need your input so that we can grow the show, which will mean more resources, more expert solutions, and more of what you're looking for. If you haven't already, please take a minute to fill out my listener survey. It's quick and it really, truly helps me understand what topics you're most interested in and how we can make How Long Till Bedtime even more helpful for you and your family. And a huge perk, if I do say so myself, of filling out the survey is that you are going to get a free 15-minute coaching call with me. You'll get personalized help with your child's sleep, so we can talk about whatever you want to chat about during that 15 minutes. I have done dozens of these since we first put the survey out there, and I have loved getting to chat with the incredible people who tune into the podcast. So it's a win-win for everyone. You can find the survey at sleepandwellnesscoach.com/survey, and I'll also link to it in the show notes. Okay, now let's get into today's topic. It's a little check-in on how things are going with my fall reset. Hi, I'm Allison Egidi, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of 2. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. Hey there, Allison here. Welcome back to How Long Till Bedtime. I wanted to share a quick update on how my fall reset is going. I shared what I was focusing on back in episode 204. So if you missed it, you can head back and listen to that. And overall, I would say that things are going really well. My alarm has been consistently set for 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. And that small change has actually made such a difference. Our weekday mornings feel smoother, calmer, and more predictable, which, as you can imagine, sets a much better tone for the rest of the day for all four of us. I guess it's been a reminder about the power I have to set the tone for the entire family by starting my day in a way that sets the tone for how I'm going to operate through the morning. So it's been really helpful. I've been really consistent about walking the dogs right after the girls leave for school, or Mike travels a lot. So right after I take them to school, depending on what's happening that day. But whether it's right after he leaves with them or right after I get home from taking them to school, I walk the dogs. That little burst of morning movement and fresh air has really become a big positive in my day. So, if you recall, I had gotten a little inconsistent about when I did it, and then sometimes it was feeling more like a chore. And now it's something I look forward to, and it's been fantastic. When it comes to the journaling and meditation that I had planned on getting more consistent about, I'd say I'm about 50-50 on my consistency. I know how much better my days run when I start with those practices. So I don't know why I haven't been more consistent, but I definitely want to recommit to doing them more regularly as I head into the hectic holiday season and the winter months. Because in the winter months, I need all the help I can get. I'm proud to say that I've been doing really well with starting my mornings with protein before coffee. I'd estimate that I get that protein in first thing about 85% of the time, which feels like a big win for me. Most days, I just mix my powders together, protein, creatine, collagen, and fiber, into water. I use my little coffee frother. It's a little handheld frother to mix it all together. And then I chug it down. On days I'm not in the mood for that drink, because there are some of those days, I will just eat a protein packed breakfast instead. But often when I have the drink, and then I do my morning of getting the kids off to school and walking the dogs, I still have a breakfast after that. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I've been sharing some pictures of my favorite breakfast because I am very into breakfast right now. Maybe that's been a little bit triggered by my protein drink I have first thing. It definitely makes me crave a healthy, nutritious breakfast post walking the dogs and my workout that often will happen there as well. And then maybe that protein drink really just sets the stage for me to want to fuel my body the rest of the day. One really interesting thing that I've noticed that I had not planned for is that when I start my day with that protein drink, it is so easy for me to stick to my goal of just having 1 cup of coffee a day. You guys, I love my coffee, and I was dreading cutting back because I had gotten up to like 3 or 4 cups a day and I knew it was not serving me. But it seems that the protein naturally curbs those coffee cravings. So, for example, today, I didn't even have my first cup of coffee until after I had done a bunch of things, including walking the dogs and a workout and even a couple calls, I think. It was maybe 10 or 10:30, and then I was having a breakfast, and I thought, "Yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee," but I wasn't dying without it. So, big benefit of the protein drink is it's been very easy for me to cut down on my coffee intake, and I feel more even-keeled and focused throughout the morning and the day between those two things. I think fueling my body with good things and putting less coffee in. I was on a great trend of keeping my phone out of the bedroom and reading before bed, and it made a noticeable difference. I slept more soundly. I easily woke at 6 a.m. I felt rested. And then, because we have to keep it real here, I'm going to be honest, I slipped a little when I got completely sucked into the latest season of Ginny and Georgia. My phone crept back into the bedroom, and it was like the only time of the day I felt like I could watch some of the show, and I would watch it and then leave the phone on my nightstand after I watched some in bed, and it was so obvious because my Whoop tracks it and I could feel it, but my sleep definitely suffered. I don't know why this is such a pain point for me. I keep reminding myself that this is a learning moment around, or a reminder, I should say, around why I need to help my kids continue to not get addicted to the screens, because clearly sometimes I struggle to parent myself. So I was doing great. I slipped up, but I have since gotten back on track. And I'm reminded again that this one habit of no screens in the bedroom or right before I go to bed, and just instead reading, really is one of the most powerful things that I can do for my sleep quality. Last night, for example, I read my book, and I'm really enjoying getting back into reading, by the way. And then I slept so soundly that alarm went off, and I'd been dead to the world for a full night of sleep. And nothing makes me happier than when that happens. Okay, alcohol and other nutrition things. I've definitely cut back on my alcohol. And just like I think we all know, it truly does improve sleep quality when we don't drink, or don't drink very much. So I'm planning to continue limiting alcohol through the end of the year. I'm not going to feel guilty about having a drink or two with my friends, or if Mike and I go out to dinner. But I'm also not going to be casually pouring a glass of wine at home while I prep dinner, which is something that I love to do, but it doesn't serve me well. Food-wise, I've been refocusing on whole, real foods and limiting processed options. And having protein first thing in the morning really sets me up for success in this area, because something about doing the right thing right out of the gate as it relates to my nutrition just makes it easier for me to move throughout the day, making good choices. And I have found over the last handful of weeks that I am now craving whole foods instead of quick snacks, particularly in the afternoon, which is where I would often shift to eating some quick snacks. So once I got back into that rhythm, I was just reminded how good it feels physically and mentally to fuel my body with real food. All in all, I've noticed that my sleep has improved and my energy levels are more consistent throughout the day and just day to day. One of the most tangible things I've seen on my Whoop is an increase in my heart rate variability, or HRV. For anyone who isn't familiar, heart rate variability measures the tiny differences in time between each heartbeat. It's a key indicator of how well your body is balancing stress and recovering from your day and your workouts. A higher HRV generally means your body is better able to adapt, recover, and to handle stress both physically and emotionally. When my HRV trends upward, I know that it's because I've been sleeping better, managing stress more effectively. Those often go hand in hand, and recovering well from my workouts and busy days, because of just all these things that I just mentioned in today's episode. So I knew going into this reset, I was going to be tracking my heart rate variability and keeping an eye on it. And sure enough, it has bumped up. I would like it to go up a bit more. And I have a feeling that if I get more consistent about my journaling and my meditation, it will, because I've done this before, you guys. This isn't my first rodeo. Sometimes we have to do things over and over because they don't always stick permanently. So, small, steady improvements, and I'm going to keep going. And we'll see what happens with my HRV and other things. So that's where I am with my fall reset. Definitely not perfect, but a lot of progress and some clear benefits that have me feeling motivated to keep going. As I move through this final quarter of the year, I'm going to focus on trying to get more consistent about my journaling and my meditation. And I've also added 2 strength training sessions to my calendar each week, which so far has been going well. And I'm going to keep that up through the end of the year. If you've been doing your own reset this season, I would really love to hear how it's going. Send me a DM on Instagram and tell me one small habit that's making a difference for you, because I am a nerd in this whole self-care, improve our health area. So send me a DM. And as always, thanks for listening. I will see you back here next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.